Hello, and thank you for joining me for today's News Desk. I'm Abby Ray. Today, we're going to be discussing theater, vaccination rates, sports, the Coyote Calendar, and more. KDUB's theater program is hard at work with rehearsals for the upcoming play Arsenic and Old Lace. The play will take place in Fitzpatrick Auditorium, rounding off homecoming week in October. Cast members are excited to be back on stage and ready to perform for a full audience. If you're interested in tickets, more information will be available later this week. The Kansas Wesleyan Debate and Forensics team helped to host a one-day debate clinic at Salina South High School over the weekend, and it was a success. They had about 200 kids in attendance, and KW debaters performed a demo debate for novices. Debate and Forensics will have their first tournament next week and are traveling to Wyoming for their season kickoff. Now we're going to Heidi Jones for the Coyote Calendar, the weekly segment where we tell you what's going on and off campus this week. Heidi?
Thanks, Abby. Thursday, September 16th, enjoy the Hispanic Latin lunch celebration in the cafeteria starting at noon. In the evening at 8:30, join FCA for their weekly discussion. Location is yet to be determined. Check out the local events around Salina. Saturday, September 18th, starting at 6 o'clock, country music artist Lee Bryce will be performing at the Stiefel Theater. Also on Saturday, Rock the Park at Markley Grove Park starts at 11 a.m. and ends at midnight. On Sunday, September 19th, check out Fiddler on the Roof at the Salina Community Theater starting at 2 o'clock. That's all for now. Back to you, Abby.
Vaccines against COVID-19 have been proven to be effective, and recently, the Pfizer vaccine has received full FDA approval. Despite all of this, Kansas Wesleyan is resting at a 55% vaccination rates in students, staff, faculty, and administration. With only a little over half being vaccinated, it's clear that mask wearing will continue to be a big part of Coyote life for the foreseeable future. There's also been some buzz on campus about President Biden's executive order mandating vaccines or weekly testing for all businesses over 100 employees, and whether or not this will affect KDUB. Only time will tell, as administration is working right now to figure out the answer. And now, we're going to King Fanene for the Sports Report. King, what's going on the field this week?
Happy that you asked, Abby. This past weekend was an eventful one for our Coyote sports teams, jam-packed with action. If you attended any of these games, the Pack would like to thank you for their continued support during this exciting fall season. The KDUB football team hosted the Sterling Warriors for their first home game on September 11th, soundly defeating the Warriors with a score of 31-7. The Coyotes were looking like they were in mid-season form with 549 total yards, multiple tackles for loss, and 2 back-to-back sacks from this week's KCAC Defensive Player of the Week, Cole Parker. The Coyotes traveled to North Newton to take on the Bethel Threshers for an evening game September 18th at 6. The cross-country team will travel to Columbia, Missouri for the Larry Young Invitational on September 18th. Push the pace and win the race, Yotes. Best of luck. Men's soccer took a tough loss to Midland University with a score of 2-1, but this isn't slowing these young men down as they prepare for an away game against Oklahoma Wesleyan on September 18th, 7:30 p.m. Women's soccer defeated the Midland Warriors 2-0, and they want to keep that ball rolling as they also travel to OK Wesleyan September 18th at 5:30 p.m. Both men and women's golf travel to Lake Hefner in Oklahoma City September 8th for the SCU Fall Invitational, with both teams taking home 5th place. The women's team traveled to Fort Worth, Texas September 14th for the Texas Intercollegiate Invitational, placing 5th out of 10th. While the men's travel to McPherson for the CCC Invitational, placing 3rd out of 8. Women's volleyball took out a broom and swept the Bethany Swedes for the first part of this year's Smoky Hill Showdown. Their next game is an evening hummer against McPherson September 15th at 7. It's a whiteout, so if you're going to the game, dress in your pastiest palette. That's it for this week's sports recap. I'm King Fanene, and have a wonderful week. Abby?
Thank you, King. A big happy birthday is due for Kansas Wesleyan University. Today we are celebrating 135 years of being an open educational institution, and students were given yellow and purple cupcakes to commemorate the occasion. If you stop by the Coyote statue today, maybe give it an extra birthday pat. That's all we have for you this week for News Desk, but make sure you're checking out the KW Student Media website and app for constant updates, access to new information, and all kinds of unique content. Have a wonderful week. I'm Abby Ray.